Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about the Atlas strat I've been running for the last 3 days or so to farm currency for my next build. This is the time where people are either gearing their first character or kind of setting up for their second character after the league starter completed everything. And this one step into snowballing can sometimes be the hardest thing to do in a new league, so I'm going to talk about what I'm doing here. First disclaimer, whatever you do on the passive tree, if you do it right, you're probably going to make good currency. That is just how it is. So whatever strat you're using, if you trust that person and you know that they give you good information, you're probably going to make good returns. This is just what I'm using personally. With that said, my goals for this was, since I was starting this on round about day 3 after I completed everything, I wanted it to be easy to do because my character didn't have that much currency yet. I wanted it to be low investment because I don't like having to resell over and over. I want to actually be able to sit down, play for like 5 hours, and then sell later, right? Like not having to sell in between so you can sustain the cost of your mapping. And then I also obviously wanted it to have solid returns. But first, where does this currency actually come from? So first up, destructive play. Now, if you look at this tree here, right up top, there is a keystone that is called destructive play. Maven casts blah, blah, blah. Basically, it summons 3 additional map bosses whenever the map boss spawns, right? So you get to the boss, you get 3 map bosses if you have the Maven influence ticked. So that's up to 4 bosses, and it does scale with the amount of monsters that are left in the map. So they don't just want you to run to the boss, don't clear anything, and then get 4 bosses for free. So you want to have a map that is decently efficient to clear. Now, modifiers to the final map boss in each map also apply to these summoned bosses. That means that stuff like Vivid Memories usually does not apply to extra bosses, but it does in this case. Same with Remnants of the Past, Conquered Conquerors, and also stuff like Chittering Champions. This means that all those bosses are eligible to drop you Guardian maps. There's one problem here though, because the way that Maven Influence works is you can only do it once on one map. So the thing that people hate about it is you have to do 10 different maps for the rotation, right? You have to do the invitation and then you go again, which is not something I want. I want to blast the same map over and over. What you do instead is you pick a map where the boss is phased. And this doesn't 100% work on all maps, but it does work for the one we're going to run, Desert Spring. It also works for stuff like Silo or Basilica, for example. Silo is probably one that a lot of people are familiar with. But so the Scorpion is there, the bosses spawn next to him, and then he goes away, right? And you're supposed to follow him, but you don't. You just portal out. So you just had 3 bosses, but you don't get the end completion to actually witness the map. So this is how a map usually looks when it's affected by Maven, and you cannot redo it with Maven Influence. But this is Desert Spring, which I've been doing hundreds of in the last few days. And as you can see, it doesn't have the influence. So this just allows you to have 3 map bosses instead of 1, and you can just portal out after. And just to be clear, you don't need to kill everything in the map. You can have like 100 monsters remaining if you want to. In this strat, that happens to me a lot. I still basically every time get 3 bosses. With the nodes on the tree, you will drop quite a few of these, and these are at least currently, I think, around about 15 C a pop, yeah. All the different ones, right? Twisted, altered, augmented. And you will drop a ton of these, which I think are like 15, I want to say. Yeah, 15 more. If you get Originator on them, even better. These are probably like 10 C, yeah, and the Shaper maps as well. So, yeah, in bulk, these sell for around about 9 to 10 C. You also get the occasional Maven Chisel or the occasional Awakened Gem. Altars are also very good, and you cannot run them while you're doing the strat, obviously. But, yeah, they're great as well. I was running them, and at some point, the Icarus just dropped to a certain point, and I was like, nah, it's not really worth picking up anymore. Still great. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. Second part is Expedition. So this revolves around Extreme Archaeology. It's usually very time consuming to put down your explosives, place them correctly. But with Extreme Archaeology, you just place it wherever it seems right. And you're not going to get everything, but you're going to get most of it. It saves you a ton of time. And then you just take all the Expedition clusters, right? Other than the one down below here, because you're going to get the increased chance to 100% from just the Scarab. You're just going to use a Scarab. They're currently 1 C each. For what traders you're going to prefer, Danig is the obvious choice. I would highly recommend Tujin second. Rock just isn't that good this league, especially with Mercenaries, and it falls out of favor pretty quickly anyways. Rare gear is pretty easy to come by. Your money will come from different things. The first batch is from logbooks, which are different vendor related. So for example, Black Scythe will sell for, I don't know, 20-ish chaos, but you can sell them for more in bulk if you're willing to sell on, I don't know, online sites or like TFT or whatever. But then there's also the Night Sun. Let's see if I find one. Yeah, right here. That one should be a little bit more. Actually, it might already be evened out. Yeah, they're pretty much even. And then the other ones, the Order of the Chalice and the Druids of the Broken Circle are basically like completely useless. So if it has neither Black Scythe nor the Sun, then the logbook probably sucks. Other than that, exotic coinage, as you can see right here, let's go to like 50 bulk. Sells for around about 6C a pop. So this is around about 1,000 chaos right here. Then burial medallions are probably similar, I would say. If you have like 50 bulk, yeah, you can also obviously sell them for divines. Ashragali really not worth anything, but they're still worth picking up, right? They're like a little bit less than a chaos. Scrap metal is still holding up okay. On top of that, you will get a lot of random currency as well, so it's not just this. There's also essences you should probably hide because it spews out a lot of screaming essences. Probably not worth your time, but that's about it. Now, the two vendors that you're interacting with are going to be Tujen and Danik. So if you want to, you can do Tujen. I'm just going to reroll here to show you how it looks like. So if you know what you're doing here, you can do this really fast. So scroll wheel works. It's going to save your wrists. Use it. You can just do this, right? Like path through. You kind of get the gist of it. Over time, you will know what's worth, what isn't, right? You don't have to like stress out about it. If you like something, take it. If there's like a jewel, sometimes you can hover over it. If you know what to do with breach rings, it's pretty good. Sometimes you get whiffs, as you can see right here. I usually don't do this anymore simply because I don't find it all that enjoyable. I've done it so many times before, it's not that exciting, but I can definitely see if you want to do that. Otherwise, just sell your exotic coinage. However, Danik you should almost always do. So it's currently same price as the exotic coinages, and you very often just get exotic coinage anyways. And since you get the currency, you might as well. It's kind of free for you, right? So you're never gonna be really... So maybe like sell half of them and then use the other half and be very, I don't know, inefficient. Just like click everything here, right? Click everything here. You're also going to get logbooks. That's what I was doing, right? I was selling for a while, but then you do this. If you're doing if you're doing Black Scythe, which is Tujen, then you can also convert. So for example, you see here the conversion per unit is 0.6. Danik's currency can convert everywhere. But if you click up top, the conversion is 1. Down here is like random, but sometimes you get good deals, right? These are the deals. So yeah, you just go through, roll, go through, roll. This is basically worth it every single time if you have the currency. Do not just sell Danik's currency. You can sell like half and then use the other half like this. Third, blueprints. Now at this point you might be like, what does this have to do with expedition? Where's like the synergy? The reason is simple. I want to do more expeditions. I want to do more destructive play, more map completions, and blueprints, and also Delirium, which we're going to talk about how I do it, the fast deli, is not going to make your map longer, right? But it still gives you returns. If you added stuff like Harvest, your maps will probably be like 50, 60% longer, which you can do, right? I'm just kind of laying out why I'm choosing these. For blueprints, the only important one is casing the joint right here, and then also No Honor Among Thieves. Casing the joint makes it so you have a 10% chance for your blueprints to be fully revealed, and that's basically where all the money comes from, and then you just have extra chance for smuggler's caches. Once you have the money, I would highly recommend go to the map device and spend 6C each. You get 3 smuggler's caches. It is always, and I mean always, worth it. Now let's look at my heist locker. I already sold a lot of them, but this is how these blueprints look like. Do not pick up contracts. They're not worth your time. They're just annoying. You can completely hide them from your filter. Do pick up rogue markers though. You can see right here. I actually collected quite a bit. They're currently 110k for 1 divine. So this is like roughly 5-6 divines and just rogue markers I picked up. So this is where all your money is from, the heist here. So how do blueprints work? So you don't have to know anything about heist. All you have to look up is wings revealed, the second line. This says 1 out of 3. This says 1 out of 4. Used to matter, not really anymore. The way people run these is they just rush through and then they buy the next one because it's so easy to get blueprints. People don't really reveal wings anymore unless they're certainly specific. It doesn't matter. But that's all that matters. If it says 1 out of something, then it's worth whatever the price is, right? Like, for example, if you have over here, you're going to be like 5, 6, 7. That's not a lot, but I'll show you later how you can sell these for like 10 to 12 chaos in bulk if you have a lot of them. But then the important ones are the revealed ones. So wings revealed, 3 out of 3. This means that somebody who puts it in can actually get 3 uses out of that blueprint. And in this case, even 4 uses. That's 4 out of 4. If you hover over these, now these are worth 50 to 55 chaos. And the 4 out of 4s are worth 70 to 80 chaos. And those are, every 10th blueprint you drop will be one of those 2 fully revealed ones. But more about these at the end when we're talking about selling. The last one is Deli. For Deli, I'm using a Scarab. straight up, they're like 1C each. So at some point I was like, why am I not just using it? It's so stupid not to use it. And once we do the map, I'll show you, but all you want to get is to 5 rewards. This is not anything stacking related. It is basically free currency per map, mostly from Delirium orbs, but also from certain clusters. But if you go to a trade site and, for example, you select the blacksmith and you say stock count 10, because you have 10, you select and you will see that it's actually 9, 10, 8 chaos that it sells for per if you have a lot of them. That's because people who use them are very efficient. Usually at this point, they're doing very hard content and they don't want to like do infinite trades. So what you want to do is you kind of want to convert them also later in the trading section. But that is where most of your money comes from Simu, from Deli Orb, and then the occasional medium cluster, for example, right? Like exerted attacks, which might not sound like a lot, but Deli just doesn't really slow you down at all. In order to run the strat, you'll need 2 Void Stones. The reason for that is even with 2 Void Stones gone, Desert Spring is still a tier 16, which is going to be the map that we're running. So you need 2 of them. So just like Quest Eater, Quest Exarch. For favorite slots, just as much Desert Spring as you possibly can, but I started at like 6 favorite slot and just worked my way up, so it is what it is. So the map we're going to use is Desert Spring, and you definitely want to chisel it and then alkit. You would like to prepare 20 maps in advance and do it right here, put them there and have like 20, 20, 20. That will come with investment, obviously. Now, this will save you a lot of time. So here, I can run this one, I think, yeah, pretty well. I won't have Flame Dash cooldown recovery rate, but that's all you need. You don't have to think about the quant, the rarity, anything. Just make it be able to be ran, chisel it, and all of that. For the 3 Scarabs, so obviously Maven Influence, for the 3 Scarabs, we're using Deli Scarab, Expedition Scarab, and also the Cartography Scarab of Escalation. This one increases the amount of tier 17 maps I got by quite a bit, and tier 17 maps, Desert Spring is dropping the most expensive one, which is the Fortress one. It sells in bulk for around about 75 chaos or single 65, and yeah, it is also quite nice to have this extra revenue. Plus, without this, your map sustain will go down significantly. These both are like 1C each at max, and I think the Escalation one in bulk is actually more like 2 to 3 chaos, but it is definitely worth it. So we put it in, and I personally do heist. Now, this is 6 chaos. If you can't afford that, try to work towards it. Open the map. While in here, the only thing that really matters is getting to 5 rewards, kind of clearing everything half-heartedly, and then getting to the boss and opening all the smuggler's caches, right? So I go here, I go through the Deli Smoke. Now, this is where you can see the rewards right here. I'm actually covering it. Down here are the rewards, and they go up in stages, and there's a smuggler's cache. Boom, nothing here. I'm hiding the contracts because, like I said, I don't think it's worth it. It is, in my experience, round about a 1 in 3 whenever you click on the smuggler's cache to get a blueprint from it with the extra chance from the passive tree. So you just go through here. If you want to do the merc, you can do the merc, obviously. Let's do it real quickly just to maybe die and have a good highlight or a good laugh. Now this one's easy. All right, can do it. Moving on. So we're going down. We can kind of see the smuggler's caches do kind of inform us where to go. This one doesn't have enough rogue markers for me to be worth clicking on it. Another smuggler's cache. Here we got a blueprint. In this case, it was a 1 out of 4, so it's going to be like 10 chaos or something in bulk. Click on it again. Got another blueprint. This one's also going to be 10 chaos. Chaos orb, and we're just going to move on. You can see I have 4 rewards right now. Usually whenever you pop the expedition, that's where it starts. Now, expedition stops your Deli Smoke, so you can kind of take a breather here for a second. The only exception for that is if you open the breach or an abyss, it will actually overlap and screw you over. But so here with 2gen, right, all I do is it's a 1 button click. 1 button click, hover over this, see if you can run the mods. If you can, that's great. Now you can scout and see where everything is, but I don't think it's worth it. Personally, place it somewhere near the explosives and then just boom. Now you open, and 2gen is a pretty good one, so exotic coinage is quite decent. It's like 6C a pop if we get some. Yep, this is 6C, 4 times 6C. That one hit pretty hard. A glacier map, whatever. We're not using singular focus. You should never be using singular focus on the strat. Another 4 exotic coinage, so that's 9 in total, which is like 50 something chaos. And another blueprint. This one is like 10 chaos. I would say in terms of how lucky this map was so far, it's probably like top 20th percentile. It's not crazy lucky, but it is definitely strong. We did, however, proc the... so I'm now going to release the Deli. So you don't need it after 5 because this is where your 3rd reward row comes up. And every reward row gives you extra chance for the Deli orbs, which are the ones that sell for 9C. Medium cluster, this one might sell for 9 chaos if that's worth to bother you. In this case, I think we procced this one right here. Yep, we got the chance for 6 additional, so that was definitely lucky. Usually you would have around 4 Smuggler's Caches in your map. In this case, we got the 10. It happens here or there, which is quite nice. And now we just scour through. You really just sloppily clear those monsters. They're just XP pockets. They won't really drop anything crazy because we're not juicing, right? Okay, last Smuggler's Cache. So while you're traversing the minimap, just kind of look at where the Smuggler's Caches are and you're going to be fine. And then you head to the boss, right? So at the boss, don't clear the boss. Just go to the first phase and that's it. Sandpit, boom. You can see Maven, and now she's going to summon the extra bosses. So be ready, put down a portal just in case you die. And yeah, do your damage, boom. In this case, we got a superior maze map that's like 15, 16 chaos in total. So if we kind of check, so don't follow the Scorpion, right? Portal out and do this again. In total, this was round about, what was it? Like, we didn't get any fully revealed blueprints, so round about 120 chaos. Average map time is round about 2 minutes to 2 minutes 30, so I can do quite a few of those per hour. As for selling tips, I would highly recommend for blueprints to pull them out of your heist locker and put them in an actual stash tab. Then you go ahead and you type in 3 out of 3 and you will pull these out because they will sell for significantly more. And then you will type in 4 out of 4 and these will sell for even more. All of these basically the same. Now, the way you check the normal ones is you go down here, blueprint, 3 wings or 4 wings, and you type in stock count. Let's say you have 10, right? People want to buy these in bulk because the people who run them have like 1,000% movement speed. They can't be bothered to just trade. Right now, they're on round about 13 to 14 chaos. Pretty sure here I could price them for 14 chaos each. So just, I don't know, put, for example, up exact price, 140 chaos for 10, or maybe undercut a little bit, whatever you want. If nobody buys, you will have to adjust because people are buying these like so in droves. People want to farm simplex enemies. People want to farm focused enemies. These prices might go down over the next few days. Don't worry, it's still super worth it. So the next one is 3 out of 3s. I personally just do them with the better trade. Yes, in order to search these, the 3 out of 3s, you type in 3 wings revealed, and then very important, the area level should be 83, and then you search, boom. And then you will scroll down. The first ones are usually price fixers, but right here you can see they're around about 50C. You can probably sell them for a little bit more. And then if you put 4 wings revealed, search, they should be like 70 to 80 chaos. Also, don't forget to sell your rogue markers. Now, your daily orbs will look something like this. If you're willing to sell on TFT, or you know somebody on a friend list who just takes them in bulk, definitely do so. It's gonna give you quite a bit of hassle. If you have a skittering one, which is the scarab one, I already sold those. Those go for more, but usually they're around about the same. Fine goes for a little bit more. The diff cards goes for a little bit more, but in general, I don't know if it's worth your hassle. But what I usually do is this. You pick like 3 orbs, let's say Fine, Armor Smith, and Blacksmith, and then you just convert them all in here. So as you can see, change a stack of daily orbs into a different type. Per unit, it takes 30, right? Which is like 0.3 chaos. I think this is highly worthwhile because, like I said, Fine goes for a little bit more, Stack Dex goes for a little bit more, and you have the off chance of getting skittering. So I click on this and, well, nice. I can sell this in bulk, right? Boom. And you just repeat this until you have everything converted into 3 or 4 types. This makes it a lot easier to sell. Obviously, once again, if you are on some of these websites where you can actually sell them in bulk, then sure, do that. Once again, use expedition vendors. Tujen is kind of optional in my opinion, and Danig definitely is not. For Danig, I would just sell round about 50% of the currency that you drop, and the other you just gamble and you just super inefficient with it. But see this, like for example, just clicking this once, I got 2 exotic coinages back, which is already more. This one has black scythe, so it's gonna go for like 25 chaos. Honestly, selling Danig is just completely like utterly mayhem, right? Because you're selling these anyways. You have logbooks already, you have exotic coinage. So it's not like it's going to add to your selling time at all. So just click on them, right? Like no matter what they are. If you used all of your Burly medallions though, then you might get into trouble in terms of currency, and that might actually be kind of a threshold there. Now, while pricing your maps, you'll see that you actually dropped a lot of Originators Memories Desert Springs, which you can check right here. So Conquerors and Influence maps, right? So these are right here. If you want to sell them, you can do that easily. These are the Conqueror maps, these are the Elder maps, and these are the influenced ones. So for example, if I wanted to sell Desert Spring, I just go here. These are the originator ones. I can search and you can see people want them really, really badly, right? These are very strong and they can always horizon orb into something that people want. So for example, if I typed in 5, I don't even know if there's anybody there. Yeah, but you can assume that people are buying these in bulk, so you could probably sell them for even more than 30C a pop. Pricing your unique maps as well. Sometimes these go pretty well in bulk. So you type in synth and you go unique maps. You can see down here, unique synthesis maps, altered, augmented, all the ones I had in there. So let's, for example, take altered. You can see that if you sold it normally, it would probably sell for like 15-ish, but in bulk, it would maybe fetch a little bit more of a price. I think people do the rotations. Yeah, so maybe not 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe a little bit extra. So all in all, the pros, strat's easy to do, good returns, low investment, just everything you really want from a league starting strat, but it also has a not considerable selling time. I would say just you have to know the stuff that I said in this video. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit annoyed. But in general, a lot of strats are like this. But if you just want to do harvest, then obviously there's other strats out there that are a lot easier on the sell time. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video and you can farm up some currency for your next build or gear up your first build. I'll be personally re-rolling tomorrow, so we're going to see about that. I'll update you guys with a video. But yeah, with that being said, I still don't have a slogan. See you next time.